Alright, my video today is going to be a double feature. I'm actually doing two videos today. I'm going to do my hot sauce, and then I'm going to do my stir-fry recipe I've been working on. So let's start off with hot sauce. This is going to be a pretty simple one. Notice I have the gloves on today. It's because I'm working with habaneros, and I've had some bad luck recently by getting them in my eyes, my face, and my mouth, and other places. And it's not good, and I'm tired of it. So, I wear gloves for today. First thing we'll start off with, onions. Alright? I got one sweet Vidalia onion, and I've got 3/4 of it, technically. And I've just quartered it, because we're going to blend this all down later anyway. Then, garlic. Go ahead and peel it. Keep it in the cloves. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cloves of garlic. Here's some onion. I forgot. And then I have a lot of habaneros. A whole lot of habaneros. Get all that. Go ahead and put it in a colander. And then wash them. Now after all of our produce is washed, we're going to let it sit and drip off and put a pot on the stove to boil some water. Now, the reason we're washing this so much and we're going to boil them is we want to cut down as much bacteria as we possibly can. Because if you're going to store your hot sauce for a long time, the least amount of bacteria, the better. Because you don't want our hot sauce to spoil or grow mold or any of that. So you got to boil the crap out of this to make sure it's good. Along with this recipe, other than your vegetables, you're going to need some vinegar. Now, I suggest using a food grade vinegar. These two are the ones I usually go for. I have some leftover vinegar here and a Publix brand one here. They're more food grade instead of like your big jugs of distilled white vinegar. I believe it's like a 5% solution that you want. Yeah, 5% solution, I believe is what I'm looking for here. 5% water, I think is what it is. And so that's your base. Your base is going to be vinegar, and then you're going to have all your vegetables. So I'm about to put these in a pot and get them boiling. Now, when you're doing this, make sure if you have a hood, turn it on. Because during this whole process, it is going to steam hot capsaicin on you. And it will hurt, and it will burn. You'll get it in your eyes, and your face will be burning the rest of the night, and you'll get it on your hands. So don't do that. Be smart. Alright. The steam is already starting to affect me. I've inhaled a little bit of it and I started coughing. So definitely be careful. But once your water starts boiling, try to let it boil for at least 5 to 10 minutes. The longer the better, but not, you don't want an hour of boiling, but at least a good 10 minutes just to be safe. Once it's done boiling, drain it out of the water. Don't throw your pot away yet, but drain it all out in the colander. We're going to throw it in a blender, blend it up. Then we're going to sieve it out, and then we're going to boil it again. You'll see. On a side note to this, I put on my safety glasses because I'm tired of getting this stuff in my eyeballs, and I'm wearing contacts today. And I don't want hot pepper steam all over my contacts and my eyeballs. But I just got the apron to match my oven mitts. I think it works. Alright, now that our peppers, onions, and garlic have all boiled, I can take these off for a little bit. I'll put it back on the stove. So now you want to take all this and pop it in your blender. Now some of you may notice, if you've been watching my videos, this is a different blender than I was using before. Well, the blender I have that has a glass container has been having some issues with leakage. And until I troubleshoot it, I gotta use this one. I have 4 or 5 blenders, so at any time I can just swap up and use a different blender. I'm blessed like that. Alright, so now we've filled this blender up full of all sorts of lovely goodness. Now that you've thrown everything in your blender, we're going to top it off with vinegar until we cover all the peppers, maybe even a little bit more. So we're going to throw all of our vinegar in here. Might not take all 2 bottles, or 1.5, but Go ahead and throw all the vinegar you can until you fill it up. Might as well. That's about good. Maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I gotta see how much this comes out to be anyway when I pour it into a jar. Because after this, I'm gonna put it in a mason jar and store it after it cools down. We'll store it in the fridge. Hopefully it'll seal because it'll be hot and ready to go. So, after you've done that, go ahead, before you even start blending this, add a little bit of salt. Even though vinegar is already salty, we're going to add just a little bit of salt. And I mean a little bit. I know I'm heavy-handed when it comes to salt, but just a little dash of salt. And then, what most people don't expect is some sugar. A little bit of sugar to balance that out. And I'm talking just a little bit of sugar. Balances out that heat and that acidity, because that vinegar is really acidic. Now, we blend. Now, you want to make sure you don't have any big chunks, but trust me, you're not going to blend it all the way down. That's why we're going to run it through a fine mesh strainer afterwards. Nice and orange looking. I remember now when I made hot sauce last, I did a variety of peppers. So I did a little bit of like serranos and some Tabasco peppers. This is just pure habanero, which is going to change it up a little bit. I didn't put a Carolina Reaper in here yet though, so the color is going to be a little different than the ones I've done before. But it looks alright. So then here comes the more tedious part. Get ready. Alright, so I've got this fine mesh strainer right here. And this is one of my most used gadgets in this kitchen. What you want to do is you want to set it over your pot. You want to get a wooden spoon. Something like that. And you want to take your blender full of blended up pepper bits and you want to pour it over. Try not to spill like I am doing right now all over my hot eye. Not my eye, but the eye. And that is creating pepper juice right in my eyes. I am tear gassing myself. Isn't that just lovely? And I'll probably get pepper juice all over my hands, even though that's what I was trying to avoid this whole damn time. It's alright. So as you put it in here, go ahead and mix it around. Press it down. You don't want any of the seeds or any of the bits of pepper to go through this sieve. Some of it might if it gets really fine, but you don't want anything to go through. And periodically, as you clear this out, you may have to dump out all the remnants. As you see, I got these remnants right here. So as you do it, you may have to dump out some of your remnants of this peppers, onions, and garlic, just so you can get your mesh sieve strainer to keep going for you. But this is a tedious and time-consuming process, but it is a labor of love if you love hot sauce. And it is an important one. So take your time, work at it. I'm not going to record the whole thing. I'm going to do this off camera. When I'm done, we're going to set it on to boil, turn the hood back on, and get it popping. Okay, so everything's sieved out. I got all the solids out, and now it's just the juice and the sauce. Alright, so now I'm going to put it back on the eye, get it to boil again, and when it boils, boil it for 10 minutes. At least 8, but definitely 10. You want to get it to a certain temperature and just boil off any bacteria, anything else that might be in here. We're going to be extra safe about this. You want to let it cool down a little bit, jar it up, let it come to full room temperature before you put it in your fridge. I promise you, it's a bad idea. Now, try that. But we're going to go ahead and put this back on. We're going to put it on medium-high, maybe medium once it starts bubbling, and just let it bubble. Let it go. See you in a sec. Alright, our hot sauce is boiling, and this is what you want, a good rolling boil. Trust me, we're not going to be able to scorch this, not easily. There might even be a little evaporation off of this, but that's alright. So you want to let this rolling boil about 8 to 10 minutes. I got a little bit of break in between everything I'm doing, so sushi time. It's good sushi. All right, take your hot sauce off the eye, let it sit. There was a little bit of like foam on the top. I scooped that out with a spoon, just kind of get it out of there, give it a better look. You can do that, you can not, it's up to you. But I went ahead and scoop that out, put it off the eye, turn the eye off, and I'm just going to let it sit and cool down before I put it into a jar. All right, once your pot has mostly cooled off with your hot sauce in it, we're going to go ahead and take it. We're going to pour it into our mason jar. Now normally I would do this over the sink because it makes a mess. But I'm trying to show y'all here, so let me see if I can kind of move it like that. Alright, set it down in the sink because you're going to get a little bit of spillage. Go ahead and pour it using a funnel. Get into your mason jar. Man, that is almost perfect. I had just a little bit left. So I had just enough sauce to perfectly fill up this jar right here. Plus, just a little bit extra in the bottom of the pan. And that I can use as a taste test. Which I might regret in a minute, but... let's see what this is going to be like. Hot damn! Woo! That has got a kick! That kicks like a mule! Good Lord! Now that's a hot sauce. Let that cool before you store it in the fridge. Then you can order on Amazon these little hot sauce bottles. You can order a box of 21 of these on Amazon. And they come with little pour spouts on top of them. So you can order these in. I'm going to take a little funnel, fill you up some bottles, hand them out for Christmas, give them to people, store them in the fridge. It's a good way to do it. That's as far as I'm going with this. That's my hot sauce recipe. Give it a shot for yourself. Play around with it. Use that as a basis for making other sauces. You can make one milder. I've done a habanero, cilantro, and lime sauce. You can do a variety of sauces for your taste buds and your heat preference. That's the basis on how to make my sauce. Try it out for yourself.